Rumors spreading round United Texas town about the shack outside the game. You know what I'm talking about. Just let me know if you wanna go to that home out on the range. They got a lot of nice girls.
browser. Oh, goodness, Kevin, where'd you go there? And go to apexthis.racing. So we got 10 minutes solo qualifying coming your way. A couple corner cuts there from Eric Foss, really pushing his car across the track today. 40% fuel limit, so we're definitely going to have a earlier pit stop for these GT3s. And a 17X will get you a drive. Oh, sorry, not a DQ at all. It's actually a drive-through penalty tonight. 106 degrees on the track at the moment, 73-degree air temp. So checking out the times here in practice. Eric Foss definitely leading the way here. Oh, excuse me, I'm not exactly sure what I've done with give us 1 second while we fix this issue. We just have about 3.5 minutes remaining in practice. And There we go. Let me adjust one more thing, make sure we are all set to go tonight. Alrighty. And 3 minutes left on the clock to find the depths of this track. And as you can see, we are just full brim of drivers. Some of our normal drivers even down at the bottom of the stack getting used to this track and car combo. I think we are running a fixed setup with a medium downforce here. And a big welcome to all of our new drivers or guys that haven't raced with us for some time. Welcome. It is good to have such a full grid, as makes for much better racing, much better on my side of the screen as well. I love to see it. We have Daniel. Oh, sorry to go to you right now, Daniel. You're up in 4th place, though, doing quite well. Nick Love here in 12th. And I've been meaning to get around to do another picture post, so we get everyone's smiling faces up there. I think I even have a picture for Chris Owens, and it's not there at the moment. And don't you love it when the admins drop new rules in the middle of the season? Or it really wasn't at the middle of the season, but it was one race down. The top 3 drivers, the 3 podium sitters, will need to skip qualifying and grid at the back of the pack for the following race. Sort of help even things up. So 4th place is a pretty sweet spot to be in. Pick up good points. Everybody practicing that pit entry, which will be crucial during this race with so many people out there. I imagine a good pit stop could earn you a good couple places this race. Yes, sliding. Oh, he almost just drifted it all the way around Oak Tree, which would have been fantastic to see. Sorry, Robbie. You're so close there. And goodness, look at all these names. Everybody say a quick little thought and prayer for my my poor video card. And that'll do it for our first practice session here with the Ferraris. And we're going to get right into our qualifying, peeking back at the track temp real fast as we do our customary light show here. Track temp dropping to 84 degrees there, so we'll probably see a little bit better times from these guys as they all leave the pits. Are we having an open qualifying session here? Very interesting, as we have not done this before. I wonder if the admins meant to do this open session or not. Very interesting here. I most certainly love it, as there's over 40 drivers on the track. This should be a good display here. And our customary update letting us know that we are live at the moment. I swear to God, I cannot figure out how to turn that off. As there's Paul Simmons and Cho. It looks like he might have Kevin Sandiego. Oh no, that was not Kevin Sandiego. Somebody else with a similar paint hounding right behind him, wanting to get around him. And 2 minutes on the clock. And Kevin Sandiego is already setting a time. Maybe they're counting these out laps for some weird reason. So we are most certainly yet to set a full hot lap out there. Mighty confused by that. But let's take them at face value, because who knows what could happen during open qualifying anyways. A couple new members here. Welcome, Steve. Welcome, Greg, who's coming across the line right now to set a initial weird time. Unnecessary to have on the board. And we saw Steve in the background there heading towards the fences. Let's check back on our initial pole setter, Kevin Sandiego, as we see him come across the line again. Jonathan Cooper with a 147, as Kevin might have had an off-track. Eric Foss takes it away for the first actual hot lap with a 146.3. Russell Abraham into the 148s there. So we're going to let this all shuffle around again because it decided to count that first lap. I guess the start finish line is passed. I have no idea why. I'm making things up now, but Eric Foss here sitting on pole position at the moment for our first Ferrari race here at Virginia International Raceway. A couple guys down here still waiting to set a time. Bjorn also heading down the back straight, and we might see that toe down the back straight, picking up all that speed, come real handy for some drivers here during qualifying. John Miller squeaking into third, Craig into sixth place there. Eric and Daniel at the top of the stack on row one, the only drivers in the 146s at the moment. Kevin Sandiego is off track at the moment on an out lap, and so hopefully he might be able to keep going, but he's down in 24th at the moment. Needs to warm up those tires and keep that Ferrari in one piece, as we are 6 minutes into qualifying at the moment. Daniel's going to come across the line again. Why don't I have the sectors up? Why not? He's got one purple sector out there. He goes faster, but not able to take pole position away from Eric, who is still in the pits. He's probably not going to get out there to do another lap, but could do some full fuel runs. Wait, we're doing and that's what we're talking about with the open qualifying. You guys have to get out of the way, off the road as soon as possible. Matthew Smotherman into third place, relegating John Miller down to fourth. And Eric Foss comes out of the pits, maybe just to check out the car, do some pit entries. Somebody out back there is doing a real sincere jump. I believe it was Daniel here who really did quite the launch. And nobody over there to murder. Good to see Russell Elizondo back in 17th position here. Kevin Sandiego currently sitting in 30th. And here he comes across the line. Let's see what he's going to be able to put down for us. It might have just been his outlap, though. He's got 3 minutes remaining on the clock. He's got to put in a time. A few guys down here still to set times for us. One of them is Greg. He's good enough for 12th, approaching the top 10 there. 2.5 minutes to go. Jonathan Cooper stays in 6th place, just ahead of Craig Ream. Here comes Carlos Lopez, who has not set a time for us. He's crossed the line into 28th. Kevin Sandiego still sitting down in 33rd place now. Both Eric Foss and Daniel off track at the moment. Roman Bykov, Sunday's winner, still to set a time for us. And he has been on track pretty much the entire time. I think Eric had a off track on this lap. Let's see if this one's going to count. Daniel getting out of the way for somebody who was really hauling. It was Kevin Sandiego really pushing on that lap. Looked like Eric Foss went into the pits to complete that final go round. Here is Kevin coming around the final turn. Is he going to be able to set a decent time? Yes, and he gets on the front row as Daniel lets him by. He gets into the 146s, and so does Jordan Fisher to take 4th place. Wow, what a go round there. Well done. So the front 2 rows into the 146s. Matthew Smotherman leading, John Miller, Nicholas Love, Jonathan Cooper, Craig Ream, and then Robbie Campbell. Excuse me, Greg Tassos, who I said was approaching the top 10, squeaking in the last 40 seconds of qualifying to round out the top 10. 30 seconds to go. Carlos Lopez comes across the line, unable to better his time. Joseph Mayer unable to better his standing there. Kenny Teal comes across the line, can't better his time, and that is it for our qualifying. Goodness gracious, we have so many names on the grid. Well, this is a lovely time for this open qualifying. Really leaving me high and dry. Maybe we'll do like the F1 intro. Dun 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 dun. Oh, perfect timing. Here we have Eric Foss on pole position. He's lining up next to guess who? Kevin San Diego. Row 2 is going to be Daniel Towell. I don't know. We got an Aussie or a Kiwi. I don't know. No, it's an Aussie. Followed by Jordan Fisher, lining up next to him, Matthew Smotherman, John Miller, Nick Love, Jonathan Cooper, Craig Ream, and Craig Tassos. Rounding out the top 10. God, everybody's flipping them gears out there, aren't they? Robbie Campbell is followed by Roman Bikoff. We got Justin Rector, followed by Brandon Bachman, Russell Elizondo, Jacob Eiting, Christopher Owens, Russell Abraham, Bjorn Benches, and Paul Metzger is in 20th. There, Richard Swindells, Michael Harney, Troy Banks, Bryson Lee, Paul Simmons Ochoa, Steve Ziropo, I don't know how. We're gonna have to check in with you, Steve. Andre Garcia, David Sockrider, Kenny Teal, Carlos Lopez, Mason Smotherman, Garrett Hall, Justin Atchison, Joseph Mayer, Mark Braid, Andrew Durkis, Brian DeVries down there, and a bunch of guys that did not join us for qualifying. We sure wish they did, but they're going to be gridding up at the back of the stack. Just about 30 minutes until we get rolling for our full pace lap here, as we are lining up in the pit straight. And on pole position, we are waiting for Eric Foss. Who is not joining us. Where is Eric Foss after running that initial lap? He is not here to get rolling. That is pretty disappointing. That's going to hand it straight to Kevin San Diego to run away with it. Jordan Fisher, and that'll bring, let's see, Daniel Towell sort of up to that inside line, although I doubt he's going to move up a whole row. Quite know what's happening out here on the track. Check back with everyone in a second. At the front of the field, here is Kevin San Diego already running away with the race, as there's a little bit of BS happening in the background. And we have about 1, 2, 3. Oh, goodness gracious. Hope everybody's making it through. Okay, we have about nearly 10 drivers who failed to grid. Eric Foss being one of them, still not in the pit lane even. And these guys really need to hurry up to catch that pace car. I mean, going pretty slow out there at the moment. It's gonna get a little awkward and embarrassing, as Kevin San Diego is going to get to go on the back straight here and just be able to gun it with the distance he's running. Now, I don't think Virginia is not one of those tracks like Mid-Ohio where they just blast off in the middle of the back straight. Some of these guys in the back really do have some work to do to catch back up, and I wonder why they're so reluctant to really get on the gas pedal and catch up for the beginning of the race. And here we go. Everybody's starting to pack up. Very awkward. Also very strange to see no Kent Kruger on track at the moment, as this I thought was going to be his night, as he loves those Ferraris. Thought this would have been his pick. Would have definitely loved to be here, but maybe he had more important things to do on this lovely Tuesday, one of your top 7 days of the week. We're just about to get rolling here as the pace car is going to head into the pit lane. Now Kevin Sandiego, surprise, surprise, is going to lead us around, as Jordan Fisher and Daniel Towell are just behind him, followed by John Miller and Matthew Smotherman, and we're off here racing. Everybody else heading down to T1. Looks like Daniel's got that inside line on Jordan. Everyone else keeping their nose pretty clean around T1 today, as we did not see with the Miatas yesterday. It was a little tragic. Oh, we're having a little mix-up back there at T2. It's a couple drivers on the side of the road, one of them being Brandon Bachman back there. And right up top, Kevin Sandiego being given no space whatsoever. So it looks like Jordan and Daniel are teammates, perhaps. Everybody coming down to Oak Tree for the first time. I love Paul's picture. It's so good every time I see it. For the first time down the back straight. On lap 2, apparently, as this program now really enjoys counting those first laps. Into the braking zone for the first time coming down the corkscrew. Everybody seems to hang on, keep it together. Here's Robbie Campbell, pressured by Roman Bykov, going to the outside in that silver bullet. Paul going for a move here on the inside. And he gives Michael Harney a little bit of a tap, and everybody keeps going as Michael Harney perhaps goes off track in the background. Mason Smotherman leading this little train here. Up through the S's, Jonathan Cooper doing well in 6th place, up from 8th. Ooh, and that's Greg to the inside taking, and we saw Roman Bykov being very aggressive there as Robbie Campbell's kicked the wrong direction. He's got to turn that car around, but there's non-stop traffic coming his direction. He's got to back it up and find a different way back. And here's Nicholas Love on Jonathan Cooper for that 6th place position. And keeping it under a second here, up to the lead in Kevin Sandiego. And there's so much action all across the track. Excuse me for cutting around today, folks, but there's some good battles everywhere. And that move puts Robbie Campbell back down in 18th position. But Roman Bykov here And this is down to T1. And he just outbrakes himself. And he's going to turn it clear around. He does the right thing and gets out of the way. Back in this midfield battle. Oh, and there's some action going off immediately. Looked like Paul Simmons-Ochoa who got booted there. Oh, somebody to his inside just kissing that right rear tire. Sends him around. Down the back straight here, John Miller making a move for that top 3 position. And he's got Matthew Smotherman right on his tail. Here's Brian pretty much pushing Mason down the straight. And he's going to get that move done and just cuts off the corner for Mason. And Kelly with that ugly, ugly paint job. Oh, heavens, Kelly. And that's John Miller who has gotten that 3rd position done. Daniel able to stay with John Miller just ahead here for the lead of the race. Eric Foss never made it on track for the start. And where are these drivers back here? We have 41 drivers on the track at the moment. And never mind my sweet timing tower when it does this. It freaks out and is struggling to figure out what lap everyone is on. Craig showing some good bravery there. Oh, and that's Carlos Lopez off track. And that's going to lose him a handful of places for that little mistake. And here's Kenny Teal doing a little bit of rally racing into T1. Just able to keep it out of the fence, though. And not do any damage to that new fancy Ferrari. And Mason Smotherman looked like he did something similar into T1. And he's going to have to pit it. And Mr. San Diego out on the back straight already. But not able to get away from Daniel. John's not able to pull away from Jordan. He's going to have a little look. And John later on the brakes there, actually, but still, Jordan able to get that one done. Oh, goodness, and down towards Oak Tree here. We got all sorts of big old mess going on. Oh, as it looks like Michael Harney in the Diet Coke car has a little off track. And it looks like Justin Atchison also having an off track there, making him very awkward with his re-entry. Is squeezing everybody tightly there. Kelly looking like he was very, very early on the brakes there. And now it looks like Mark Bray to the inside. They're very compromised, but Paul is very compromised again at a very similar location as where he got spun around, I think, by somebody. Here is Roman Bykov. Despite spinning himself around, he's only down 3 spots. Troy Banks is doing quite well this race, up 10 positions. Brian DeVries up 21 positions. Brian, what are you doing out here? You're about to bag a couple more, it looks like, as he is just behind this Roman Bykov and Paul Metzger battle. And he had to really get out of the throttle there. Really hoping they take themselves out. And having great race there is Brian. Next up, Andre Garcia. Currently running in 11th, up 16 spots. Doug Doucette running in 23rd, up 16. Bryce Carter up 15. Oh, Brian DeVries going there. And there's Michael Harney to the inside, coming out of the pits, the lapped car. Very brave there from Brian to make that move happen. I'm glad we got that one on board, as we're going to, of course, need to have that pit stop. We're already 11 and a half minutes through this race. Oh, Brian, that's not the way to make it happen. Oh, and he gets, as karma would have it, he gets turned around for good measure. There's Paul Metzger all turned around, and there's a lapped car of, I don't know, Andre Garcia, I think, was the red Ferrari off track. Yeah, so everybody having the growing pains in this car, as it turns out. Bryce Carter just ahead of Christopher Owens here, having a nice little battle up through the S's. Ooh, down to Oak Tree. It looked like Paul Metzger in trouble there. Oh, someone else in bigger trouble. All turned around. It looked like Justin Atchison. He's just going to hop right around Oak Tree onto a clear part of racetrack. He's going to get a slowdown penalty, of course, for that. But the best bit of racing actually happening between let's say 20th and 40th position at the moment, 20th and 36th position is where it's all going down. And here is Justin Atchison bleeding off positions as he bleeds off all that time. And down here we have a battle between Mark Bray, who's just getting all bashed up. Oh, and it's not pretty down here whatsoever. But it is incredibly entertaining. I'm sorry for saying so, but I am pleased that I was able to watch it all live. And here's Doug Doucette just inheriting places. He's up 19 at the moment. I don't believe Doug hit the grid with us, hit qualifying with us, and he's just been climbing over every accident going out there. If you're curious about the race lead, it's still going on. Less than half a second here. Paul Metzger having his own issues out there on track somewhere. Let's see what happened here for Paul. Looks like he goes off track. Oh, and he just gets tagged a little bit. Don't really know why we haven't seen more of the lap traffic. Back in 34th place ahead of the leaders here is 6.6 seconds up the road. I would imagine some people coming in for some quick repairs, since everybody does have one, and been getting a little fender benders here and there. Might really affect them on these long straights. Who knows? Also, if you're stuck in traffic, it is also lots of fun, but might give you a little bit of clean air to turn some good laps. Ooh, and Daniel having a little issue there, almost going off track. Kevin San Diego really whipping it around that corner. There's somebody in the middle there doing donuts in the middle of the field. It's so easy to do here. There's the grass to tarmac ratio is not good at all here in Virginia. And with these last couple for kerfuffles, the track has loosened up a little bit, and people have a little bit of breathing room around them. Just a few battles happening at the moment. One of them is still for the lead, and oh goodness. Curious to see where John Miller has gone. He's dropped back a few spots. Unfortunately, my event ticker goes so quick and so often with this many people on track. It's impossible to find certain incidents these days, it looks like. And just about a second is that lead that Kevin's getting up top. And Andrew Durkis spinning it here at Oak Tree. He's going to back it up. He's going to go into the barrier, but keep it going. Daniel really pushing to stay with him, make sure he stays in that draft. Here's Troy hunting down Bjorn ahead. Battle for the top 10. A little bit further back in the pack, Andre Garcia here, pressuring Bryson Lee for 17th. Don't quite know what happened there. It looked like that red Ferrari just disappeared or blinked out for a second. Coming down to T1. Andre Garcia trying to go around the outside. Maybe get a cutback maneuver here on Bryson. Daniel still keeping him honest out there. Paul Simmons Ochoa has another accident out here. All by himself coming down to Oak Tree, really pushing it hard in there. Yeah, just on the exit, getting away from him. Doug Doucette having just a small time coming out of there, getting back going. Bryce Carter and Christopher Owens. And Nick Love hunting down Steve ahead. We have a couple guys into the pits at the moment. Nick Love only for 14.1. Looks like 14 seconds is going to be around there. Stationary time. And now dealing with some of that traffic. It's brought him back towards Daniel a little bit. But the traffic obliged, got out of the way. Nick Love now pushing around track. David just able to save it there. Almost turned it. So Daniel elects to stay out on track for the moment. Kevin Sandiego comes into his pit stall. It'll be interesting to see. We're only 20 minutes in, and we've already had a handful of drivers, unforced too, from Kevin Sandiego here. Maybe he's running into that back traffic and wants to get out of the way and puts himself in. Actually, a nice little pocket here, as he's got 7 seconds ahead of him to John Miller, who's no slouch. It won't really hold him up. He's only back in 5th place. It's a pretty decent spot to be in. 15.5 stationary. Didn't quite see who that was coming out just behind him. It's Andrew Durkis. Maybe we just left the pits. It was. And racing out of the pits, there's Roman Bykov just ahead of Bjorn Benches. And then Russell, Christopher Owens is still in there. Bryce Carter coming in. Richard Spindell stationary. Bryson Lee's in there. Robbie Campbell was 7.6 seconds. Maybe he had a very early, much needed pit stop. We're from 14 to 15, 16 seconds here. Comes Daniel, Jordan, and Matthew. John Miller has not already come into the pits. He had a spin or something earlier on, and he still has to come in for his stop. Keep an eye on where Kevin Sandiego is. And Daniel already back out on track. He has jumped Kevin for the lead. As there is Kevin coming back around. He's about 3 seconds behind Daniel now. Very interesting there. As Jordan Fisher is still above Matthew. John Miller comes into the pits, comes out of the pits. Troy Banks, who's pretty much the pushes as late as you can go, so 24 minutes on the clock, comes in for his stop. Troy is always my metric for how long you can go in any car in fuel save God mode. We're having a weird interval problem there as Kevin Sandiego is pushing to get back up with Daniel. He's going to make it 4 seconds, though, by the time he gets around Oak Tree. And he's going to be well out of the draft range for Daniel. And Jordan Fisher is much closer to him now at the moment. Craig Ream exiting the pits into some heavy traffic. And again, when it says the top 4 drivers are out of the race, do not listen to it. Oh, and it says Roman Bykov has had an incident. Looks like coming down towards Oak Tree. And it's such a difficult spot. You gotta be so clever on the brakes. Really difficult, especially with a new car. And find out all the ways that you're able to spin it. Somebody comes into, it looks like somebody comes into the pits right then. Maybe Christopher Owens. Sorry, maybe Russell Elizondo. Michael Harney in the background. A few people still to come in. Like Paul Metzger and Justin Rector having a T1 incident here. Oh, a little late with the dive there, but there was definitely a lot more speed to be had in that corner as you know, they were well in charge of that automobile. But anyways, not for me to decide. Nicholas Love hunting down John Cooper for that 6th place. John has retained that spot for a good portion of this race. Nicholas Love is in his grid position of 7th. And to be fair to Eric Foss, I think he does live in England, so it's pretty late there at the moment. I mean, I think it's like 2:30 in the morning. So give the guy some slack. And here we go, Nick Love taking that spot away. Craig Ream not with his best performance tonight, having some trouble somewhere along the way. Sitting 12 spots behind his grid spot. And there's Jonathan Cooper going quite wide. There's John Miller unable to take advantage. He is able to take advantage, and Jonathan gets out of the maneuver there. John hit somebody at that corner on Sunday evening, and John able to take advantage of the king's ransom he's paid on pedals to get his car around there. It's very, I told John, I said, wouldn't it, like, none of us, if you got pedicures, if you treat your feet so nice, if you got pedicures, like, we wouldn't even, like, blink an eye. I'd be like, yeah, it's just like, John loves his feet, man. It's just like, the amount of, he spent so much money on pedals. He's had every type of pedal out there. He's currently running in 7th place, which isn't too bad considering he had that some sort of accident somewhere along the way and dropped him back a bunch of spots. Couldn't quite find it. We got Craig Ream, who I think has made it past Richard Swindells. Bryson Lee with a great paint ahead of him. And Daniel able to retain that 4-second advantage over Kevin. He's just, lap time so consistent. Here goes Craig Ream trying to make it up into 19th place. And here comes Craig to the inside. And he's got the place done before they come into the S's. And Steve has Roman Bykoff here for company. And so the last 9 minutes of this race will not be easy for him. He's going to have to put on some real racecraft here. Nick Love and Jonathan Miller now looking at the back of a top 5 finish. Greg trying to hold on to first one. Oh, goodness gracious. Nick having a terrible exit out of there. And John's going to take that one easily. Woo. And there's Roman just hanging on to that thing. Really skirting the line with that car. It's not a bad exit either. And here we come down the pit straight with these guys. Greg is real smart. He takes to the inside. John Miller goes well around the outside. He gives him plenty room on there, and Nicholas Love not interested in getting involved, just wanting to pick up any pieces that might fall out of that. And here comes Roman Bykoff with good drive onto the pit straight. 6 minutes on the clock. I think Steve has lost this one here. As Roman just tries to hog the entire track, keep it to himself. Nick doesn't seem to have great pace going out of Oak Tree there any longer. Maybe his tire is starting to betray him. David Fendick leading this little pack here, sort of giving Craig Ream a bit of a tow and a helping hand down the straight, and he's going to bleed off some time and let everyone else by. Good guy. Richard Swindell is unable to do anything about it this time. Richard with a much better exit out of the final turn. Let's see if he's going to be able to make anything happen. It's going to be tighter than an Ed Hardy t-shirt, so let's get a better view of it. And they come down door to door into T1. And Bryson's just going to hang on for the time being. Oh goodness, what's going up here? What's going on up here as Jordan Fisher gets terrible drive out of that final turn. He was really closing down on Kevin Sandiego. And I said Kevin was closer to Jordan behind than he was to Daniel, and that was most certainly the case, as he's now having to defend his second place grid position from Jordan. Nick Love trying to make that move stick on Greg. John Miller's already made a nice little 1.4 second gap ahead of those guys. Bjorn Benches has Russell Abraham behind him here. Joseph Mayer is hounding David Sockrider ahead of him. And of course we have Richard Swindells and Bryson Lee battling it out in the final 3 minutes of our first Ferrari Evo race of the year. Here is your race leader, 2.5 on the board as he rounds Oak Tree. Oh, and this is real tight coming down to T1. It looks like as Russell's got that move done on Bjorn. And Nick giving him plenty to think about coming down into the little corkscrew. But thinks better of it, just trying to pester his way through as we have some lap traffic here. David Fendick being really cool again, letting everybody by, you see there. Remember that was Russell Elizondo that we just saw there. And these 4 cars here all racing for position, starting with Craig Ream, ending with Andre Garcia. And we have 30 seconds on the board. And we may get another lap out of this race, because here comes Daniel down through the corkscrew section with 15 seconds on the board. It will be pretty close as he rounds the final turn here. Nick Love having an accident at the end of the race. Let's see what happens. He comes downhill towards Oak Tree. And looks like he just turns it there. And that will be the end of the race as Daniel takes first place. Kevin Sandiego holding on to second, just above Jordan Fisher. Matthew Smotherman comes across the line ahead of John Miller. Or downhill comes Jonathan Cooper. Greg Tassos. Let's go back to some of the battles that are still going on this lap. Here's Richard Swindells on the back of Bryson Lee. Joseph Mayer still hunting down David Sockrider. Robbie Campbell trying to get one on Bryce Carter towards the death of this race. Andre Garcia is just behind Richard here. There's a battle for 20th position. And nobody wants to be the menace on the final lap and do any real damage. Robbie Campbell trying to push him all over the track as these tires begin to fade. But he can't do anything about it, and that's going to be it for our time, or our first race here at VIR. It was a good one. Thank you everybody for showing up for this first one. Really makes a big difference having all these numbers out there. Thank you everyone for showing up. Let's run down the race results at the moment now that I believe everyone has come across the track. And everyone's crossed the line, so we should be able to get those results here for you. Alrighty, I figured it out. Would you imagine that? We got Kevin Sandiego, who, wait, what the heck? Did Daniel not finish the race? Am I tripping? What is going on in my life? Daniel not apparently finishing the race. Who knew? Kevin Sandiego won the race. Of course he did. There is no God. Jordan Fisher came in second place. Matthew Smotherman is apparently in the podium positions, followed by John Miller, Jonathan Cooper, Greg Tassos, Justin Rector, Nicholas Love, and I believe Jacob Eiting rounding out the official top 10 there. Then we have Troy Banks, Bjorn Benches, Russell Abraham, Roman Bykoff, Steve Zirapo, David Sockrider, Christopher Owens, Joseph Mayer, Craig Ream, Richard Swindells, Andre Garcia, Bryson Lee, Bryce Carter, Robbie Campbell, Daniel Towell, apparently all the way a lap down, go figure. Doug Doucette, Kelly Greenhoe, Carlos Lopez Jr., Andrew Durkis, Michael Harney, Russell Elizondo, Mark Bray, David Fendick, Andrew Rasmussen, And looks like those are the rest of the guys that were able to finish the race with us. As always, make sure you hit that thumbs down button, unsubscribe from my channel. Make sure you hit the bell an even number of times. My name is Eric Elkins. We will see you right back here on Thursday with the V8 Supercars, which I'm most excited about. Go Team Holden, and live on, live strong. I don't know, I'm just making things up. They should hire me. Isn't that cute? Anyways, we will see you back here on Thursday. Take it easy, everybody.